Hello and welcome to Vishnu's IAS Academy Hyderabad. As I always say, your one-stop destination to enable your UPSC journey into becoming a massive success. I also extend this warm welcome to all our online community as well as offline students who are taking the lecture. Yes, this is the Hindu newspaper analysis based on the Hyderabad edition of the Hindu for today, that's 27 June 2025. Today's newspaper again has some very straightforward news articles that I shall be talking about, and then you have two editorials, both of which are important and quite complicated. As I say, the main intention of the news explanation should be to make these difficult, complex editorials easy for you, to help you understand how will they come in the upcoming mains exam. Okay, so let's begin now with the two newses on the very first page of the Hindu Hyderabad. The one is quite repetitive. It's a repeat of yesterday, but it is also a great news as finally the group captain Subhanshu Shukla alongside other 3 astronauts have successfully landed. They have successfully launched into the International Space Station. Now this is a wonderful news because for India, this is like creating a new history, a new milestone in astronomy and space exploration. So as these astronauts became successful in reaching the International Space Station, Mr. Subhanshu Shukla has created history as he is the first Indian, please remember, to have entered the International Space Station. Apart from that, as I said yesterday, they have been traveling using the Dragon Crew capsule that carried them through this mission named as the Axiom 4 mission, in which India has done a massive investment of about rupees 500 crore. This massive investment has been done because this is just a precursor. It is just a first step towards a larger mission, as I said, that is going to be launched either in 2026 or 2027. This shall be the Gaganyaan mission, which again will be of massive importance because that Gaganyaan mission will be India's first human spacecraft mission. So therefore, for ISRO, the stakes are very, very high. So now that they have landed in the International Space Station successfully, what will be the key agenda in the 14 days of their stay in the International Space Station? As I said yesterday, one of course will be doing basic experimentation in the kind of materials available there, sample collection. Another important agenda should be to pave way for at least 8 experiments that are being done by ISRO itself. So there are many experiments that are being conducted jointly by the countries, but ISRO also is going to conduct 8 experiments through this Axiom mission. Now another target will also be to look into the maintenance of the International Space Station. Talking about the International Space Station, although direct questions in UPSC we do not expect, but you can definitely use this in GS Paper 3 Science and Technology when we talk about India's space exploration missions or India becoming the next important power alongside few very other countries in the world who are now ambitiously launching their space expeditions. Whether you talk about the massive South Pole success of Chandrayaan 3 or other ambitious missions like the Shukrayaan or the Aditya L1. So in that light, International Space Station is important because it gives a platform. It was created by an initiative of around 5 important space agencies across the world. One of course is your NASA from US, then it's the JAXA, the Japanese Space Agency, then of course you have the Roscosmos, Russian Space Agency, you have the European Space Agency and the Canadian Space Agency. Remember that this keeps orbiting the Earth in a very low Earth orbit. Okay, and eventually the purpose is not just scientific experiments but also to in general study the space environment. No wonder consistently astronauts keep going there for repair work and taking care of the upkeep of the ISS. So that's regarding this news. Let's jump to the left hand side column. We are talking about India's once again proving to the global community that now gone are the days of non-alignment, gone are the days of a very, very secure Diplomatic foreign policy. Today we are powerful enough to take our own stand. It was visible when just few weeks back, respectable, honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi had negotiated with US President Donald Trump that India will not accept any mediation when it comes to the Kashmir issue. He also clarified that Operation Sindoor was not stopped. There was no ceasefire because of US command. It was because India felt the need that this is the right time to call for ceasefire. This is another reminder of the same strong independent foreign policy. Very important. GS paper 2. International relations, polity, governance. Quite important for ethics also. GS paper 4. Okay. How? I'll explain. Having said that, this article says that recently there is this Shanghai Cooperation Organization defense minister level meeting being ongoing in China. And during the meeting, our defense minister Rajnath Singh made it very clear that we are not going to sign, we are not going to agree to the agenda that is being spoken about in the meeting. We are not going to sign the proposal, neither shall we endorse the agenda of the meeting. Why did he say that? The reason was very clear. Because the Shanghai Cooperation Organization's agenda, the meeting's agenda, highlighted very strongly the Baluchistan militancy that is crippling Pakistani army. But it refused, it failed to do even one comment on Pahalgam terror attack done by Pakistani militia, Pakistani based militants on India. This is something that truly has upset India. Why this double standard? It means that for Indian Defence Ministry, this is a clear-cut try by China as well as Pakistan to avoid any discussion on terrorism, to avoid any discussion on militant insurgency into Indian borders by Pakistan. So this was not acceptable to our government. So very clearly, we have refused to endorse the agenda. The government also has made it very, very clear that we will not sign any agenda that does not support India's fight against terror. Okay. On that note, a quick reminder about the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. One thing I want you to remember is that although it is a security and defense organization that was created long back in 2001, India and Pakistan, both the countries, had joined the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in 2017. Just remember, in 2017. That's an important thing to remember. Besides, Iran is in news right now, big time, because of the war that's going on in West Asia. So do remember, Iran had joined back in 2023, whereas Belarus happened to be one nation that joined the SCO in 2024. What is India's role in SCO? How has Indian membership supported India's foreign process or dialogue, or what has it meant for India to be a member of the SCO? If you have any opinion of that, please post it in the comment box. Otherwise, separately, we can talk about India's ongoing negotiation with the SCO. So for now, just remember that India has refused to endorse, once again showing our independent foreign policy. Now, a GS paper question can come like this, that India's diplomacy and foreign policy has completely changed from just what it used to be 10 years before. Today, the Indian government takes a much more strict, independent and no toleration policy towards terror. Comment. Hence, these examples are important to highlight. With that, let's proceed further and see which other news are important for the day. And as we glide further, let me take you to other important news articles. If there is any news article that you want me to discuss and explain in detail, please let us know. Gladly, we shall break that down to you. Okay? But now let's proceed to the most dreaded segment of the Hindu newspaper. Yes, I'm talking about your editorial page. Today's editorial has two articles that are very, very complex. So therefore, I have made them super easy for you. And point by point, let me tell you what are these articles talking about. Let's start with the first one. Israel-Iran ceasefire. I know you are tired of seeing the same news in the paper every day. You must be wondering, then why do we talk about these editorials? There are benefits. One thing is, it makes your international relations strong, because then every time the article is coming with a new perspective, you understand the real politics of West Asia. Second benefit is that reading and decoding these articles gives you a lot of important points. examples to write in your GS answers. So let's just not waste time and quickly talk about what is the main agenda of this article. Well, this article is again talking about the recent war that has happened between Iran, US backed Israel. Yesterday I spoke about how after the Cold War period, once again the world is divided into two opposite poles. Remember, one happens to be the pole that is US, the pole that's of course your Israel. Other pole happens to be the axis of upheaval. Remember I said that US has made this new word, axis of upheaval. Here US is saying there are certain countries who want terrorism to happen. China, Russia, Iran. Okay. So this is the global order today. In that light, this article is saying now that war between Iran and Israel, at least for now, has come to an end. Because of US, because of Donald Trump's decision, there is a ceasefire. But the problem is over, is it? No. The article says now what? What's the future for West Asia? What's the future for Iran? So let me break it down quickly. Don't get scared if you see too many points and difficult words here. No, let's make it easy. See, one thing is the article is just telling you the war was very bad because it has led to humanitarian crisis. It has led to major terrorism, genocide, hunger among people of West Asia. Okay, both. Not just are we talking about the people from Israel who are the hostages right now with Hamas. We are talking about the people from Iran. We are talking about the civilians in Israel. We are talking about the people in Gaza who are battling hunger. There is too much deprivation and poverty right now. So the article says war was a very bad strategy to begin with. Now what happens? Now the article says it's been 21 months. 21 months since the Israeli Defense Force, the IDF, completely supported by the United States of America, has done some big achievements in entire West Asia. Always keep a map with you. If you want me to go with a PPT format in which I can show you the pictures and the map, comment. Let us know. I will do that. It helps you associate with these articles, okay? So always see the world map or the atlas and keep looking at it as you read these news articles. It will help you understand better. You will get very good marks in prelims because the prelims questions are based on current affair, places in the news, people in the news, okay? So therefore, having said that, West Asia today has become a very, very uncertain place, a place which has no future. As I said, 21 months of continuous fighting done by Israel, supported by the US. Now, there have been some major achievements for the coalition, the partnership of US and Israel. Let's call it Israeli Defense Force, okay? Now, what are these achievements? The first achievement as per the article is that in Iran, we have been able to bring down its nuclear facility. Agreed, complete destruction has not happened, but still, there has been a major disruption of its military, of its weapons of mass destruction, supposedly which US says Iran has, and of course nuclear facilities have been badly damaged if not destroyed. That's one achievement. Second achievement happens to be that the Hamas as a non-state actor, remember this word is coming every day in the newspaper, I keep telling you about NSA. Non-state actor, those extremist groups like Hamas, Hezbollah, militia, Al-Qaeda, who are not the government, but still who are very active in global politics. These are called the non-state actors. Non-state because they are not supported directly by any government. Although, yes, definitely they operate with government support, but they are not the government themselves, okay? Having said that, now let's talk about NSAs. Hamas power has already been degraded now, very, very badly in the Gaza. Although Hamas is even today holding some hostages, some UN peacekeepers, some Israeli citizens, but still, as compared to last year, the power has come down because of the constant attack by US and Israel. Second achievement. One is destruction of Iran's nuclear capacity and military power. Now the third achievement happens to be Hezbollah, another important non-state actor in Lebanon. It has also been rendered ineffective. Its power has been hugely decreasing now. It has degraded because of consistent Israeli-US attacks. Third achievement. What's the fourth achievement as per the article? Fourth achievement clearly is that, let's talk about Syria. Now in Syria, as the Al-Assad regime, Al-Assad government that was supported by Russia, You wanted to know yesterday why? If you want to know, let me know in the comment. I will explain you in detail why. Al-Assad government of Syria that was supported by Russia also fell down. Which means now there is a replacement, and the replacement is new Islamic government which is not strong at all. Yemen's Houthis, another NSA extremist group. Yemen's Houthis are also now subdued as compared to before. So what is going on? Complete power has now gone to the first bloc, Israel plus US bloc. Clearly because they have achieved all these things. They have changed the power equation in West Asia. If all these NSAs, non-state actors, and the Al-Assad government in Syria and the Iran government, all of them have been subdued, who stands to win? Israel stands to win. Do we know how much nuclear capacity Israel has? Is it a part of the nuclear non-proliferation treaty? No. Has it been negotiating with the United Nations openly about what is my nuclear infrastructure like? No. So therefore, it is very scary, the future now, because now US will dominate completely the West Asian politics. That's what the article says. Decades of Iran's ambition of becoming a major military capacity in West Asia has also been challenged now, as I just said. So what's the future as per the article? What will happen now? The future is very dangerous, because in future now few things will happen. Iran will continue to face sanctions, very, very strict inspections of its nuclear facilities in future also. Consistently the IAEA, United Nations Agency on nuclear energy, it will consistently keep asking it for more and more transparency. They will keep inspecting their sites regularly. So Iran will never be like before, that's clear. Second thing is that US was recently, Donald Trump said that in Iran, regime will change. We will bring down the rule of Al-Khamenei and now it will be replaced by a new power. But the article says it is not as easy as it looks. Successfully, US was able to do the same thing in Iraq after Saddam Hussein, in Afghanistan after Taliban. But Iran is not like that. Iran is a place where still radical, extreme traditional clergy, the religious leaders, they are powerful. There are revolutionary guards who are in power in Iran. For example, let's talk about Khamenei, the leader. He's very, very orthodox. He holds a lot of religious influence on its people. They are very devoted to their country. They are not like Iraq and Afghanistan. It is not that easy for US to change the regime. It wanted to, but not that easy. Because in Iran also there is a clear succession race now. One happens to be the Mujtaba. Mujtaba, Khamenei's son. Will he become the next ruler? Or the grandson of the Islamic Republic founder of Iran, Hassan. Will he become the ruler? Now the contest is between these two people. US bad leader will not come. Nobody will allow for that. So situation is very clear. It's a dangerous situation. Nobody knows what's the future. Israel is dominating. So what can we do? What's the solution as per the article? Solution number one. Let countries like Russia, US, China understand that domination is not important right now. Please act with humanity. Understand that rather than creating a situation in Gaza, Gaza is having a situation where children are dying. There's no milk to drink. There's nothing to eat as of now. In that situation, rather than support the people of Gaza, restore some peace, go back to some solution, perhaps the two-state solution, which Israel completely refuses to believe, at least some solution, rather than continuing this bombarding and war every now and then. This will only lead to genocide, starvation and humanitarian crisis. So stop that. Understand that if countries like Iran, US, Russia and China today want moderation, they want peace, then the future generations will benefit. They will benefit because if peace comes in West Asia, it will mean better supply, cheaper supply of oil and fuel to the rest of the countries. It will mean more tourism for these countries. It will mean more economic benefits for these poor people, and therefore the article wants to demand for peace. Okay, that's the article. I hope I was able to make it easy for you. Just keep these ideas in mind, okay? And don't get scared by the tough words used here. Now the next article looks complicated, super easy. Let me explain. Article says fathoming. What is fathoming? Imagining. When you try to dream about something. Fathoming America's plan to manage artificial intelligence proliferation. What is proliferation? Proliferation means growing something, increasing the potential of something. So the article is trying to say America today or the US today is in a situation where it is trying to behave as if artificial intelligence is like nuclear weapon. Just like US does not want other countries to have nuclear power, it doesn't want other countries to have artificial intelligence power also. Why? Because it is insecure. It wants all AI chips, all AI products, AI, artificial intelligence, all technology to be dominated by the US. It doesn't want any alternatives coming from countries like South Korea, China, Japan, supposedly India, or any other nation. It is very protective about its AI technology. That's the article. Let me quickly explain the article. Why important? Very important for GS Paper 3 Science and Technology. Use of AI, application of AI across agriculture, education, healthcare sector, okay? Disaster management, important for ethics paper. Ethical use of AI in public administration, medical science, education, agriculture. It's a very important topic. Let's see what article says. Article is talking about the Joe Biden government. Why is Joe Biden being mentioned here? He's gone now. We are talking about Joe Biden because during the time of Joe Biden, just before he left the power and Donald Trump came back, Joe Biden had created an agreement. He had created a process, a protocol, let me call it. What was the name of this protocol? The name of this protocol was Framework for AI Diffusion. Yes, sounds lengthy. Just focus on it. It is called Framework for AI Diffusion. What is this? According to Joe Biden's government, Joe Biden wanted to stop artificial intelligence technology, chips and other small, various kind of techniques that go into AI computing. He wanted to stop US from exporting this technology to other countries of the world. Therefore, he created this very protective and a very closed concept, or rather I would say rule, known as the AI Framework for AI Diffusion. The purpose was therefore to completely stop all export of AI to the world. That was the purpose. The purpose was also to treat AI like nuclear technology. Just like we do not want to export crucial weapons of war, crucial nuclear technology, we will also not export easily to other countries our AI computing methods, chips and techniques. But there was a catch here. Biden government wanted to favor its allies, supporting countries. Especially it did not want to support China. It was very insecure of China's leading AI sector. So on China, severe sanctions were imposed. US completely wanted to, under the Biden government, stop sending any technology to China, no sharing at all. Please understand the meaning of the word diffusion again is sharing. What is diffusion? Spreading of something. So this framework, as I said, the framework for AI diffusion wanted to stop AI from getting diffused or spread to other nations, particularly China. US never wanted that under Biden. Now this article says as soon as the Trump government came, this framework is now being revised. It is now being changed. Why is it being changed? Because today the Trump government feels that by creating too many licenses, supporting only our allies, creating strict restrictions on countries who are our enemies like Russia and China, we are trying to stop the global growth of AI. That's why he feels, Trump government feels, let's make the framework slightly more relaxed. Let's make it more liberal. So today what has happened, US now thinks that computational power, what is computational power? The technological process that goes behind artificial intelligence application. US feels the computational power of AI is what is the major driving factor behind AI success. So therefore now they are saying that let's not treat AI like a defense weapon. Let's remove certain restrictions and let's allow more innovation and technological collaboration. There was another problem that happened when Joe Biden created this very, very closed framework. Alternatives started coming. Other countries like China and Russia and South Korea, when they became slightly scared that US is not sharing any technology, they started coming up with alternate technologies that were equally good. Not equally good, but as good perhaps, nearly as good. For example, China created the DeepSeek RI. That was also wonderful. when it comes to fast AI computing. These alternates were coming because naturally when US will not supply, other countries will find something of their own. So Trump administration therefore now wants to cancel this framework and it wants to extend more support to countries like India. This is very good for us. Definitely for India it is a great benefit, because for countries like India where there is tremendous workforce, there is too much education sector focus now on AI. Lot of innovation in Indian universities is possible if US allows us to access their AI chips and AI secret technology. So what's the future now? What will happen now? Now US will continue to create some controls on Russia and China, but still it will ease out, make it easier for countries like India to access this technology without much licenses or without much restrictions. For example, in March 2025, US added many more companies to the blacklist. And most of these companies were either Russian or Chinese. This blacklist meant these companies we will never share technology with. So still that restriction protocol is going on, but we are hoping that now under the revised framework, perhaps it will become more liberal with every passing year. Also, the new US legislation says that let's create a built-in location tracking in AI chips. What will this do? If you create a location tracking system in small chips of artificial intelligence, then the US will come to know that nobody is stealing its technology. They will have better copyrights. Plus, they will also track that these chips do not enter the Russian and Chinese markets. Then they will feel relaxed that now we can share it with other countries, because immediately we can locate through the location tracking in the AI chips that they are not entering China and Russia. If they do, again US may take a strict stand. So ultimately it boils down to the fact that all this control-based policy further means that US, I know, we all know US is a global leader of AI technology, but if it continues to act so strictly, if it does not allow AI diffusion and sharing, tomorrow its own position as AI leader will become threatened and undermined, because talented people are there in other countries also. They are very sophisticated in technology. Maybe they create better replacements. So it's better to share technology and let a global growth happen in AI. That's the pitch of the article. I hope you understood. Quickly, let's look 2 minutes for the article on the left hand side column, Vaccinating India. Not a tough one, important for GS paper 2, social justice, GS paper 1, social issues, GS paper 3, health and nourishment. We are talking about vaccines. You might remember the mission Indradhanush. If you don't remember, if you don't know, please look up for it. Try to see what it was. These examples are important to write in GS answers. The article talks about a very great achievement. It says that today, as compared to the years between 1980 and 2023, vaccine coverage, the number of people, the number of children and women who are getting vaccines, preventive, it's a preventive health step, okay, to vaccinate people against many kind of usually communicable diseases. Very few non-communicable diseases like cervical cancer. So the number of people covered in vaccines has doubled. A lot of people globally, about 75%, are now those who have received at least one dose of vaccination for dangerous diseases like, say, diphtheria, tetanus, or diseases like cholera, which have, or hepatitis, which have a very high mortality rate. So that's a good news that a lot of children and a lot of people are getting vaccinated globally. That's very good. But not everything is as good as it looks. Globally, the number of people who have got at least one dose might be very high, which is good. Talking about India, there are still certain states in India, states namely Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, Rajasthan and Gujarat. As per a 2021 study, there are a lot of children in these few states who are still known as zero-dose children. What is a zero-dose children? Who have received not even one dose of any vaccine. Now that's very dangerous. We all know that globally there is a protocol. For every newborn child, there is a DTP vaccine. It stands for 3 very dangerous diseases which leads to a very high case of infant mortality, referred to as diphtheria, tetanus and pertussis. So DTP takes care of that. But sadly, among all these states and also among certain northeastern states including Meghalaya, Nagaland, Mizoram and Arunachal, there are many children who still have not received even one dose. They are called zero-dose children. That's a very dangerous trend, because those who are zero dosage children are much likely to experience child mortality. Even if they survive infancy, even if they live beyond 1 year, until the year of 5, their life is hugely in danger. If they survive, there are high chances that their health status will go quite down, because they may contract these diseases, which ultimately impacts their immunity and overall health condition. So therefore, there is a prevalence among very poor communities, among uneducated young mothers. Remember, these are some areas which have a very high degree of child marriage, unwanted pregnancy, very poor adoption of birth control, very low access to primary reproductive health care. Owing to all these problems, these are certain children specifically coming from communities like the scheduled tribe communities, some minority communities like the Muslim communities in these states. They today are in a need of better vaccination. Vaccination is also called immunization. So therefore, the article is saying that as per the World Health Organization Immunization Agenda 2030, remember 2030 is also the agenda for 17 Sustainable Development Goals. It is also, 2030 is also about doing universal vaccine coverage. Let everybody in the world, everywhere, be vaccinated. At least one dose is mandatory. So the agenda is to halve the number of children who haven't received vaccines as compared to 2019 data. So today we need more effort. Say for example, India needs much greater ground level implementation. It can be done through NGO, Anganwadi, ASHA workers. ASHA, very important for GS paper 2, accredited social health care workers, women who go ground door to door to supply birth control, to supply preventive medicines like vaccination and basic other menstrual equipment to poor women and children. These are the people who can help us in implementing universal vaccine better. This is one data you should definitely highlight in your GS paper 2 and GS paper 3 answer. Remember, take all these articles and highlight them. Highlight them in your answers, because these are the current affairs we want to see in the answers, to make them more relatable, to make them more logical. Pure theoretical answers look very bland. They show that you have maybe learnt the concept, but you don't know how to apply that concept. So for an aspirant who is writing the theory and then supplementing that with current events taken from newspapers, because this is a very trusted source, that shows your application of theory and that gets you very good marks. Okay, now with that, let's quickly proceed and see if there is any other article for today that's remaining. Yes, there is a small thing I want you to observe, nothing in detail, that Russia has assured India that India will very soon be getting on time the delivery of S-400 air defense system. Okay, so this, please remember the technology, S-400 defense system, and as this technology will be achieved by India, this can be used in engaging targets which are as far as about 400 kilometers. So that's a major defense technology here, and India had placed an order for 5 S-400s. Already 3 are delivered. The remaining 2 shall soonly arrive in India. As this technology comes to India, finally, all 5 of them, we will elaborate more as more articles keep coming in the newspaper. Okay, then articles talk about the Air India crash, we talk about the black box investigation, but we have spoken about this already. Now in page number 14, they are elaborating on Mr. Subhanshu Shukla's great achievement. As we said, the first person from India to have reached the International Space Station that's rotating near the Earth in the low Earth orbit. Also, he has become the 634th astronaut to reach space. Just remember this small data, that's it. Okay. Now, another article on the same page briefly mentions the delay in implementing the Jal Jeevan mission. These missions are too many in India. I don't want you to remember everyone, but yes, you should know at least 4 missions across various topics. For example, 4 missions on women empowerment, 4 missions on drinking clean water supply. So Jal Jeevan mission is exactly that kind of mission. You should keep this in mind. Okay, very important for GS paper 2. And all in all, I think we are done for today's newspaper, because the science page articles are quite technical there. They talk about things like cancer medication, because recently there was another controversy that the cancer drugs that were created and manufactured in India, they were found to be ineffective in more than 100 countries. That is a very dangerous trend, because India is known as the pharmaceutical capital of the world. major importers of India's cancer medicines are such countries who cannot afford medicines from countries like US and Europe. So Nepal, Bangladesh, these happen to be some leading importers of Indian manufactured cancer drugs. When this Indian produced drugs were found to be faulty, now these people are in a huge shock that where will the next batch of trusted drugs will be imported from. So the article talks about certain technical cancer medications, say for example cisplatin, how it is created through platinum based compound. Then we talk about oxaliplatin, we talk about cyclophosphamide. So nothing to know much in detail, but just to remember that this is the main idea of the article. And then we all know about the Kiladi in Tamil Nadu, that how the Kiladi excavation had happened in Tamil Nadu, and then it became a very big political controversy. The controversy about how the archaeologist, namely Amarnath Ramakrishnan, who had done this excavation, who had led this, was repeatedly transferred by the Archaeological Survey of India. So eventually it became a very big political issue. But let's remember that this was an important discovery because the excavation site showed us very important religious symbols. Also because this Keladi discovery was talking about Tamil Nadu's history in a major way. So that's just what the article is consistently talking about. And that's it for today. I'll take your leave. I hope you were able to understand the basic theme of today's Hindu newspaper through these articles. Let's meet again for tomorrow's newspaper and see what it brings us. In the meantime, if there's anything you want me to specifically talk in detail about, any particular global politics, international relations agenda that's confusing you, let us know and we will have a separate session on that for sure. Thank you so much for being with us and see you soon with another news analysis. Thank you.